Bengals have set up a game with huge playoff implications.
Now's where the work starts. We got a 6-day season going. It's gonna take everything we got.
We need everybody to show up on Saturday and give us their best.
Because we know what it takes. We know what we've been through to get here. And just executing when it's time to execute.
You know what scares me, Shannon? Those Cincinnati Bengals.
It's all coming together. Nobody wants to face them.
Because of their aerial assault.
Chase wide open.
And he dives for the touchdown.
We just got to go out there and just be us, keep being who we are, try to dominate the game and get a W.
Watch Cincinnati catch fire.
You want to play in these kinds of games that matter at the end for the postseason, so hopefully we can go out and get a win and put ourselves in a good spot.
Two games to go in the regular season with everything on the line at Paycor, as Cincinnati looks to continue the holiday magic they've had this December. Welcome in to Bengals Weekly. I'm Marisa Contipelli. The Denver Broncos come to town as Saturday will have the feel of a playoff-like atmosphere, with the Bengals needing a win to keep their postseason hopes alive. So as we get you set for one more party in the jungle in 2024, we go behind the stripes with the young defensive linemen, as the rookies and second-year players have stepped it up. We'll take you into the film room with Chase Brown, who breaks down some of his most memorable plays from this season. And on Countdown, I'll tell you what Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have both accomplished that only 6 other receivers in the entire league can claim. But first, the Bengals completed the season sweep of the Browns, and with it, winning the 2024 Battle of Ohio. It was one of the most complete games we've seen yet this season on both sides of the ball, as Joe Burrow and the offense took advantage of an early red zone takeaway by the defense. Let's now relive the Bengals' dominant win over the Browns.
It is a bitterly cold December afternoon here in Cincinnati as we get set for the 103rd Battle of Ohio. In a game the Bengals must win to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Hey, AFC North Ball, Battle of Ohio round 2, baby. Sit back and enjoy the show. Bengals win on the way.
York starts from 5 yards away. He approaches the ball, swings the leg, and thwack. This game is underway. Grabbed him, but couldn't bring him down shy of the goal line. It's a touchdown for the Cleveland Browns.
I think that ball was out. Boy, it appeared to be out from that vantage point.
And the Bengals take over.
It's Burrow. Pocket collapses. Burrow stumbling and just masterfully gets it to Higgins. Just otherworldly from Burrow.
From the Bengals logo, here comes the 59-yard try. It is good! Cade York ties the Bengals franchise record as the half comes to an end with the Bengals leading 17-0.
Trying to thread the needle, deflected and picked by Geno Stone.
The third game in a row. This is a free play. Throws a deep ball for Chase in the end zone. Jamar's got it! Touchdown! Bengals! Throws incomplete at midfield, and that is coffin nails.
Bam, bam, bam.
Now, I'm still trying to figure out just how Joe Burrow does it. Week after week, we are treated to a Joe Dini-like play as Burrow continues to add insane highlights to his resume. And I love it when things seem to work out in our favor, because we had Joey B mic'd up, and I hope you enjoy his reaction to his touchdown pass to T. Higgins just as much as I did.
Let's go, Fig. Big day. Big day. You're proving yourself. Let's go. Yep. Let's go.
From their own one, trying to avoid the safety.
Where are we going here, Ted? 59? All right. Gotta go. Turn. Listen. Hunt!
And sure enough, an inside linebacker flinched. Back at the 8, Chase Brown to his left. Yossi goes in motion, now goes back in the original direction. Burrow to throw, steps up, throws, and it's caught for the touchdown.
Oh, holy! Oh my God! crazy, boys. It was crazy. He can boot it. He can boot it.
From the Bengals logo in the middle of the field, the snap, the placement. Here comes the 59-yard try. It is good.
Let's go.
As the half comes to an end with the Bengals leading 17-0. 3rd down and 5. Shotgun snap. Thompson Robinson under pressure, begins running right. He looks, he lobs it downfield, and it is intercepted on a ricochet by Geno Stone. The 3rd game in a row where Geno Stone has come away with a pick.
Let's go, Geno.
Got the Browns to go offside. This is a free play. Throws a deep ball for Chase in the end zone. Jamar's got it. Touchdown.
I was coming to you, but he bailed like. Hey, over the ball though, they keep bouncing off you. You got big body, bro. Get in the middle of the field, bro. Get in the middle of the field. Let him get one. I was not trying to let him score, bro.
Up next, we sit down with the young guys on the D-line as Chris Jenkins and McKinley Jackson shined against the Browns. We go behind the stripes next, here on Bengals Weekly. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. The defensive line has had adversity hit hard over recent weeks, but it's provided an opportunity for some of the younger players to step up and show this coaching staff that they can be counted on in big situations. We now go behind the stripes with the D-line.
The Cincinnati Bengals select Chris Jenkins,
McKinley Jackson.
I was going to make sure you felt me, you felt my presence.
He'll be sacked by rookie Chris Jenkins. Brought down by McKinley.
Cedric Johnson coming, bearing down.
3 draft picks this year.
2nd, 3rd, and 7th round draft picks.
You can tell they're eager. They wanted their opportunity to get out there and show their stuff. You're not going to have an opportunity sooner or later. In the defensive line, we always say, your opportunity's coming.
Chris Jenkins, 2nd straight start with no Sheldon Rankins.
You got to be ready to step up and help the team in any way that you can. And, that's what we've been trying to do as young guys. The vets and the coaches have been putting us in the best possible position to be ourselves and go out there and ball.
He'll be sacked. Chris Jenkins with his 2nd of the game.
They want to, just want to be out there, want to create those plays, want to be on the stat sheet.
Just kept telling him, man, you're going to get them. Sooner or later, you're going to get them. Just keep playing.
Just going hard, that last 10%, just really being willing to make a play.
Brought down by McKinley Jackson.
And boy, was he ecstatic.
Now a tomahawk chop by Cedric Johnson.
People don't realize that Cedric can really run. You can see it on that quarterback sweep. That guy was running away from him. As a coach, you're looking at the distance and looking at him. I'm like, he's not finna outrun that guy. He closed on him.
Swatted away by Myles Murphy.
Let him know that it ain't all about just the sack. It's about pressure and doing your job and doing it at a high level.
Loss of 2 on the play. Myles Murphy with a tackle.
And I see it, you see it. It's kind of like, whoa, this guy. It's just a matter of time. Next 2 games, man, don't be surprised if Mr. Murphy don't get his hands on that guy a few times.
I hope I'll continue to make a bigger impact. I want to be a guy that can be counted on no matter what situation, that when you put me in the game, I'll do my job. That's just my mindset right now. I'm not worried about next season. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm worried about right now. I was just watching film, getting better. Just help win games. That's all we want to do.
We tell those guys all the time now, at this point in the year, you're no more a rookie. You played against some of the best offensive lines in this league. You're battle tested.
Now, another young player who has taken on a larger role this season is Chase Brown. The 2nd-year halfback is 2nd on the team with 11 touchdowns and 2nd in scrimmage yards. And he has quickly found himself at home in the Bengals backfield. So we thought we would bring Chase into the film room to break down some film.
So the play before
I had just fumbled the ball. We're at the end of the game, and the whole thing that was just going through my mind was just respond and make a play. Out here at number 1, motioned in, coming in the block. So he's the one kicking out the defensive end. And then Drew was coming in here to insert for the linebacker. Zone blocking up front, and was able to get up to the second level. He totally took this linebacker out of the play. I'm able to hug it tight off Drew on this linebacker right here. From there, just making the reads and playing football from there.
Inside run. They'll score more than 10. Chase Brown to the house for a Cincinnati touchdown.
I thought that the turf was gonna be more like slippery, so I tried to dive in there thinking I was about to slide, and I just stuck to the turf, so that hurt a lot more. Even though I just put the ball on the ground, my coaches trusted me enough to come back with another run play and put the ball in my hands again. I was able to respond, so it felt pretty good to be able to bounce back from a negative play. Little design screen play to get the ball in my hands. Trio of guys are working to block up these guys. And if these guys, the good guys, block all 3 of these guys, we got a pretty good chance of getting in the end zone. So, and look what happened. 1 block, they're working together. Look at Drew coming back to block the corner. And I was able to skinny him up there and get in the end zone. But I did get fined for this play, unfortunately, because I jumped in the kettle. And the worst part about that was I jump in the kettle and I look back and look where he marks me out, like the 6-yard line. I don't know if you saw the clip, but I was in the pot saying no.
And they're gonna say he was out of bounds.
They reviewed it, my foot was in bounds. I was able to skinny up and get in the end zone.
I hope not, or else my is broke this week. I don't make enough money to get fined.
The Bengals' biggest game of the season yet is on deck for this week. And coming up next, we preview this Week 17 tilt against the Broncos. Stay with us here on Bengals Weekly. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. It's one of the league's top scoring offenses against one of the stingiest defenses, as the Bengals have their biggest test of the season yet in a must-win game in Week 17. Let's now send it over to Dan Horde for this week's preview against the Broncos and how the team will once again rely on Joe Burrow for some of his late-season magic.
We are joined by my friend Robert Weintraub, who writes about the Bengals for Cincinnati Magazine. Robert, of the many things that have been written and said about Joe Burrow over the years, you are responsible for my all-time favorite line. When he was drafted, you said that Joe has awesomeness oozing out of every pore. He has obviously been awesome this year. Is Joe Burrow worthy of MVP consideration?
Yeah, somehow he's found a few more pores to be awesome out of. I didn't think that was possible, but he's got some kind of cleanser going on or a skincare regimen that's obviously working. And if you put up his numbers, they're right alongside, the Josh Allens and Lamar Jacksons, and Burrow's numbers are certainly in the same stratosphere.
Jamar Chase leads the so-called Triple Crown categories as a receiver, catches, yards, and touchdowns. It's only been done 4 times since 1970. Is there anything in particular about his season that impresses you?
He's just been so consistent after those first 2 weeks. So he's really just, put everything together, everything we knew that he was capable of and has shown already as a pro. I mean, it's hard to find a more finished product coming out of college, ready to step onto an NFL field than Jamar Chase was. And yet he still somehow almost exceeded expectations in that way.
The Bengals can keep their playoff hopes alive if they beat the Denver Broncos on Saturday. What are going to be some keys to coming away with a victory in that game?
Yeah, it's an interesting case because you have a team in Denver that likes to play defense, likes to run the ball, and when they don't do those things well, they've had some struggles. But surprisingly enough, they are very low in terms of guarding the enemy number 1 wide receivers. Against wideouts and running backs, they struggle. So the 2 chases, Jamar and Brown, should be part of the focal part of the offense.
Robert, always great to catch up. Appreciate your time, and happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays to you, Dan, and to everybody out there. Thanks so much.
We're at the Boys and Girls Club in Newport, Kentucky, spending time in the community and kind of using our platform for the greater good.
It's been a really amazing partnership. The kids get so excited every time they're here. It's just the most fun thing for them. They are over the moon happy. It's just a phenomenal experience.
It's always an amazing opportunity to give back. I remember when I was a little kid like these guys, you look up to anybody who's in sports to now be able to kind of flip the role a little bit and be a good role model that they can look up to. It's really just such a privilege to be a part of.
Coming up, it's Contipelli's Countdown, where I'll tell you what milestones Joe Burrow is chasing this week. Bengals Weekly continues next. Bengals Weekly is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. And Alta Fiber, the official Wi-Fi and internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. Welcome back to Bengals Weekly. There haven't been many better than Chase Brown since he took the reins of the Bengals backfield in Week 9. He has quickly become a reliable outlet for Joe Burrow, as his elusiveness and speed seem to be on display week after week. And this weekend, Brown will be on the chase again for another 100-plus yard performance against the Broncos. With at least 100 scrimmage yards on Saturday, Brown will extend his streak to 6. It's the longest active streak in the NFL and would stand alone as the longest in franchise history. Brown is the only player in the league this season with at least 7 rushing and 4 receiving touchdowns, and his 839 scrimmage yards since Week 9 is third most among all running backs. While 2 of the other playmakers on offense have something rare in common. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are 2 of only 6 receivers this season, averaging over 70 receiving yards per game and have at least 7 receiving touchdowns. Higgins' 72 yards per game average is his highest since 2021, as he is only 1 score away from setting a new career high in touchdowns for a season. Chase is 2 receiving touchdowns away from breaking the Bengals team record, as he has over 790 yards and 9 touchdowns over his last 6 games. Now, as for the guy throwing to them, well, Joe Burrow needs 383 yards in the air to break his own team record for most passing yards in a single season. He also looks to continue his longest streak in NFL history, with 250 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in a game. And the 24 touchdowns he has tossed since Week 9 are the most in a 7-game span in Bengals history. As for the other side of the ball, the defense has been a turnover machine with 11 takeaways over the last 3 games. That's the most in a 3-game span by a Bengals team since 2006. Geno Stone has a pick in 3 straight. That's the longest streak by a Bengal since Reggie Nelson had one in 5 straight games in 2015. And during the Bengals' 3-game win streak, the defense is holding opponents to 17 points a game. That's 4th fewest in the league since Week 14. And Denver enters Week 17 having lost 3 of their last 4 on the road and haven't won on a Saturday since 2006. In their losses on the season, the Broncos are averaging 15 points a contest. Rookie QB Bo Nix has thrown 5 interceptions over the last 3 games and hasn't thrown for over 300 yards since Week 11. On the season, Nix has 22 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and an 87 passer rating. Contipelli's Countdown is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Discover what happens when rugged capability meets true performance. To learn more, visit kia.com. Kia, movement that inspires. It's now time for this week's Kettering Health Fantasy Report. T. Higgins put up almost 20 fantasy points in Week 16 after he hauled in 8 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown against the Browns. This marked the 4th time in his last 5 games where Higgins has recorded 17 or more fantasy points. The Bengals defense followed up an 18-point performance in Week 15 with a 17-point outing last week. Good to be the 2nd highest scoring defense of Week 16. The 6 points given up to the Browns is the lowest they've allowed on the season, as the D recorded 5 sacks and 3 takeaways. And for Denver, their defense is currently ranked as the top fantasy defense on the season, averaging over 9 points an outing. On the season, Denver has tallied 51 sacks, 23 takeaways, and is holding opposing teams to an average of 18 points per game. Thanks for tuning in to Bengals Weekly. This week's game against the Broncos is presented by On Location. For Dan Horde and our entire crew, I'm Marisa Contipelli. We'll see you in the new year. Bengals Weekly was brought to you by Paycor, proud to be the official HR software provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. AltaFiber, the official Wi-Fi and internet provider of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Kettering Health, the official healthcare provider of the Cincinnati Bengals.